Good morning, everybody. Can anybody see my PowerPoint up there? I'm not sure if it's showing. Oh, thank you, Sunny. Good morning, Ethan. Good morning, everybody at Northwest Pump. Katie, I uploaded the ready slides as well. So I assume when they join us, I can just we won't have to do a screen sharing after we start the meeting, if everybody can see my slide.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Enjoying that we're finally hitting the rainless season.
I know. Yesterday was really nice.
Okay,
Today's
now
supposed
I
to be
see
good
it.
too.
So now it looks like I've got this thing presenting it in Teams, so I can see
Yep.
what's actually.
Yep, we can see you.
Okay, cool. And I put Reddy's slide deck on this presentation, so we should be good to go with just me hitting the clicking button without having to share the screen with them, as long as they can see it. If that's the right way to doing it, because I put them all into our format.
Actually, are you sharing now? Oh, there we go. There we go.
I am, and then I don't know if I just need to hit my enter button to click, or if I need to forward arrow or whatever, but I wanted them to be able to see I just copied and pasted their slides over so that it was easy enough to just keep it all smoothly transitioned.
And I'm looking for them in the chat. I'm not seeing them yet. Wait for them to join and then get going.
I think aren't we doing a trade show in the APCA today in California?
Yes. Yep.
Was Tom, Coda, and Dave and those guys attending that?
Yeah, it's Tom Coda and Aaron Brown. I don't see them yet.
I saw where one of them tried to get on this morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
They're in Detroit. Some of them are in Detroit. Eric actually lives
saw
in New
that.
Jersey. Morning, Kevin. A lot of inventory behind your head there, Kevin.
He's muted.
Yeah, I know. He hears me because he smiled. Well, should we get started or should we got you seen anybody else, Missy, from Ready on the call?
Oh, here they are. Here's the boss. I'm gonna move him.
Morning, boss. We had a number of customers sign up too, so that was exciting.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here with the boss too in the room. So.
We got Alphonse here on our team.
Perfect.
Hey,
Good morning.
awesome. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Or afternoon for you guys, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get to do
Great,
morning
Tim.
all over again.
Right. Jim, if you want to go ahead and start, I think
Okay,
we are
great.
all set.
All right, well, welcome everybody to our e-mobility webinar featuring our partnership with Ready Charging. My name is Jim Moran. I am the Director of Petroleum Products here at Northwest Pump, and I'm excited today to talk to you about our partnership. We'll introduce everybody in a minute. I wanted just to give everybody a brief overview for our customers that have logged in to listen to us today. Northwest Pump has been an industry leader selling and servicing petroleum products since 1959, probably longer than most of us have been alive on this call. We offer top quality products, decades of experience, and unparalleled customer service. We added an industrial division 30 years ago and employed those same principles. And we've been employee owned since 2006. So regardless of your position at Northwest Pump, everybody acts like an owner. And that reflects in how we take care of our customers. Our partnerships have been with top tier producers, vendors, and we're excited to talk about our partnership with Ready today. So the petroleum division has been pretty occupied with dispenser upgrades this last couple of years and a lot of tank upgrades for existing sites. The gas station model is not going anywhere. In fact, it's getting bigger and better and stronger. So we provide all aspects of equipment and the design, and we assist in blueprint takeoffs and provide all the nuts and bolts that are required for the projects that we're working on. So with that said, electrification and how Northwest Pump fits into the future. Northwest Pump started introducing EV charging systems in 2019. We started with ChargePoint and then with Gilbarco Veeder-Root products for both AC and DC charging equipment. Sales in the first couple of years were pretty modest, and every year since demand has increased to the point where now we needed to really step up our game and decided that we would do that best if we did that with a partnership. And there's a couple things that are on the horizon. There are a tremendous amount of new EV cars and pickups being introduced to the market. Quite a few back orders at the factories for these EV machines, and it's still anticipated that by about 2025, it's going to be less expensive or about the same as producing an internal combustion engine. So with that said, I'd like to turn this over to, here's where we're going. We're providing equipment. Providing equipment is only part of the solution. And we want to make sure that this is a sound investment for our customers. So the electric recharging market is still woefully underserved. It is the Wild West right now, with marketers trying to position themselves to serve the EV customers that may have frequented their gas stations or C-stores in the past with their standard gas or diesel running equipment. Having a complete picture of how a specific site matches the EV recharging market is what we are now providing, so that each of our clients can make an informed business decision with models of return on investment, providing to help make these purchases make sense for them, especially since it's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario. We want to make sure that we're building it out for the future and not undersizing this. To get this done, last year we entered a partnership with Ready Charging, so we've had our about 1.5 year anniversary with that, and it's been working fantastic, and it's really helped us navigate all the changes that have been pretty dramatic. So I'll turn this over to a boss. And a boss, you might say a few words. I know that you're very modest, but I could brag about you and talk about you for about 45 minutes, but I'll let you give your abbreviated version.
All right. Well, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Abbas El-Haj. I'm the CEO of Ready Charging, and I'm here with Alphonse Nebi. He's our VP of Business Development. Since side by side here instead of echoing off each other. Little summary just about myself. Been working in electric vehicles for 18 years. Most recently, I was the global lead for EV powertrain at Ford Motor Company. We started this company in 2017. We started out doing advisory work, and then we were hired by one of the largest jobbers and station owners in the country to dig into EV charging for them. So that's kind of where it evolves. So we are a distributor, of EV charging. So we have all the equipment. We have our own software network that the chargers run on. We built that out of necessity after trying a bunch of other different software programs, not liking their pricing, and we'll get into some of that. Pricing, reliability, etc. We decided to build our own to address some of those issues. We own and operate chargers ourselves. So the stuff that we're talking about, the products that we recommend, it's kind of like the hair club for men. We're not just a client or the president, I'm the client as well. So everything that we recommend to you guys or anything we do, it's the same stuff that we would buy ourselves and make that same investment at locations. And kind of Jim touched on, we also do analytics. So we have a proprietary analytics tool that we built from the ground up. Basically, we can get an address, and from that address, we can do pretty much tell you, just like gas, what's the IRR, what you should be making on that, how many kilowatts, instead of how many gallons a month you're going to sell, how many kilowatts a month you're going to sell, and are there any incentives in your area, et cetera, and how that's what your return on investment would be. So today, I thought kind of as an intro, we'll take you through like the value add, all the things that we do in detail, kind of go over some of the available incentives that make it especially appealing in the regions that you guys are in, and then kind of a brief overview of the technology that we're talking about. So I think Jim touched on this and brought up some good things, but there's a ton of money going into electric vehicles. Obviously, I'm sure everybody's aware, like California, their mandate to sell. So what's really interesting is we check these market reports, and regularly, every month, every 6 months, there's a new one coming out, and the adoption is beating the projections. So it's supposed to be, 3% EVs sales. Last year was closer to 7 of new car sales, and every year it's kind of actually growing faster than projected, and they keep revising the projections. So offering EV charging at your location allows you to be a leader. So there's kind of a first mover advantage, and to kind of adopt, kind of can touch on this. It kind of goes along with the other one, drive traffic. But in this convenience store space, people are creatures of habit. Everybody, they might fill gas with you at a station once a week, but they might stop in 5 days a week and play lotto, get cigarettes, do this and that. So the same thing is with EV charging. EV drivers are no different. They're still habit-based creatures. So the more that your location is part of their routine, even if they're only charging there once a week, you're still collecting, you're more likely to get them. Whereas if the guy down the street has EV charging, they're getting coffee, cigarettes, lotto, all that other stuff from them. So this allows you to be a leader and kind of capture that market early. Obviously, and you can go back one sec, real quick, but you can generate revenue is another one. The big question is like, how or does this make money today? We'll get into that in a second, but actually, yes, if done right, you most definitely should make money and actually can make pretty good returns. It's very easy to put in the wrong equipment. It's very easy to overspend, or put in something too slow that nobody's going to use. If done right, and there's definitely, definitely very profitable and money to be made there. Convenience stores, hotels. Saw an interesting one yesterday, kind of anecdote that I can share. It also allows you to build your brand awareness, kind of making it out there. There's opportunities, for PR, drivers, promotions, things like that. So, all right, yeah, we can go to that. If you go to the next one. So, some things, kind of why we kind of have the ideal partnership, I think, between us and Northwest Pump to deliver. We have tons of experience in the fueling industry. Us being one of the preferred vendor for the nation's largest, convenience store chains, and we're unique, and we're the only EV charging company built from the ground up 2 ways. One, we're EV drivers, we're engineers, so whatever problems and things, we understand it from that perspective. We work with over 11 different charging manufacturers that we're integrated with, and we'd be shocked to know how many of those employees of those companies don't actually drive an EV. So how could you know what's good and what's bad? So everything we do, we test it. We're not just customers and users of it. We actually buy the equipment, own it, operate it, generate revenue off it ourselves. So it's that really intimate knowledge kind of gives us, a huge advantage. And again, we built this from the ground up around the convenience store industry. That was our initial, we basically copied the existing, jobber, brand, dealer kind of structure and made it plug and play. So the only difference is what you're selling. Instead of gas, you're selling electricity. Everything else is the same with our model, and that's unique to us. So we got some really great partnerships with the OEMs, like the vehicle side, integrated into the dashboard. This summer, we'll be rolling out some features called Plug and Charge, which is what Tesla has, which basically you don't even need the credit card. Your car is your credit card. And you just really just plug in and the thing just works and you just get debited to your account via your card. So, those kind of partnerships are really great. Drives visibility, makes your stations built into the in-car navigation systems. So when a driver gets to low battery, it automatically routes them to your location. Pops up and say, hey, you're driving from, city A to city B, and along the way, you're not going to make it on a full charge. It'll route you to the location because of those partnerships that we have with the OEMs. And it's not just Ford and GM; it's quite a few others. So a lot of the kind of value add and things that we do, number one is portfolio strategy. And we do this a lot for people. So basically, we're able to take a list of addresses and using our proprietary tool, look through the whole portfolio and determine which sites are good for EV charging. So we look at all sorts of different metrics like distance to other chargers, average annual daily traffic, income, crime, you name it, ratios of how many EV chargers in the area versus EVs and all this different kind of stuff. And it'll basically give an estimation that's kind of scarily accurate on how many visits per day that charger will see. From there, the tool overlays that with available incentives. And with that, you have the price of the project minus incentives. You divide that by how many visits a day and how many kilowatts per visit will kind of give you the return on the investment. So basically, we can take your portfolio, look at it. You got 5 sites or 50 sites or 500 sites. We'll recommend, hey, rank them. This is the best one today, where it's going to maximize your ROI, whether it's because of an incentive or because of traffic, and kind of give that rollout plan. And because we own and operate chargers, we give the same recommendation, whether we would pay for it or you would pay for it. So basically, if it's a good idea to put in chargers, we're going to tell you. And if it's that good of an idea, we're probably willing to fund it. or would be able to help, potentially, but we make the recommendation, we treat it like it's ours. And if it's not, we're also straightforward and say, hey, at this time, that's probably not the best site, for EV charging. So we are one of the nation's largest, fast charging distributors, and we're integrated with pretty much all of the fast charging manufacturers. We aggregate a lot of this, so we definitely are able to offer, best in class pricing. But on top of that, it's best in class sourcing. So everything here, our headquarters is in Detroit. We have a test facility here where we have every single brand installed. We test them daily, nonstop, monitoring, what's reliable. And so for us, we're constantly evaluating and updating our portfolio to make sure that for us, it's about price point, easy use, and reliability. Those are the three main categories. So if tomorrow there happened to be some new feature or something else, we would be all over it, as to what we're going for there. If you go back just one sec. So we can offer turnkeys, so we can do pretty much everything. So again, from planning out your strategy, we can do the installation, permitting, site plans. We do all the ongoing marketing, operations, maintenance, driver support, 24/7 driver support. It's unique to us. It's US-based driver support by EV drivers. So within 3 rings, you're getting a live person who can help, support. So you're able to get the revenue without the resources. You're able to capitalize on offering EV charging, and you're leaving all the heavy lifting to us. And so really, what we did is we built this from the ground up to be easy and plug and play with your existing business model, and specifically in, convenience store locations. So, okay. Go to the next one. So kind of to touch on some of the incentives. So I want to preface that there's a lot in like the incentives. That being said, you don't necessarily need incentives to make a project profitable. It's really about location and traffic. So yes, if you're in, northern North Dakota, would you need a grant to have a good return on investment? Yes. But when you're talking, especially in these, the markets a lot where, you guys are at, California, Arizona, Oregon, Washington, a lot of, especially along major corridors and cities where there's apartment dwellers, you actually can have a pretty attractive return without any incentives. That being said, even if you have a great return on investment with an incentive, without an incentive, it's even better with one. So there are some interesting ones that kind of make you aware of and how we can help. So one that's available in these markets is called LCFS. Some of you guys might be familiar with it. It's available for biodiesel today, and all sorts of other things as well. But basically, these are credits that are traded on the market, and it basically is what it's going to do is it's going to bump your margin. So if you're making 20 cents per kilowatt hour, these credits will accumulate. You're not paid them instantly. You have to go, we do this for you. We monitor them. We trade them on the market for you. Right now they're currently valued at about 10 cents. But we can broker that and take care of all that for you and take advantage of it. That's just additional revenue. It's an additional margin, cents per kilowatt hour that you're able to capture. And that's in the states of California, Washington, and Oregon. Likely soon to be New Mexico, but other states are really looking at it as well. So, but currently those are the three states where it's offered. There's also incentives from utilities. The most common one is called a make ready. So basically what that is where they help bring the power to your location. It can be an expensive piece. Especially fast chargers often require 480 3-phase power. And if you don't have that at your location, bringing that out could be take a lot of time. It could also be costly. And so most utilities offer something in the way of help and support to get that power out. Because at the end of the day, they're selling more electricity. So we have those relationships. We're approved with pretty much all the utilities in these markets. where we can help facilitate that, help that conversation go to make sure that you are, getting full advantage of that. In addition, there are utility rebate programs that are available, similar to like LED lighting. They offer that for EV charging. It's dependent on your utility. So there's a lot in Arizona. There's still some in California, Oregon, others. They're kind of hit or miss. Arizona is one of like the states that still have like a pretty robust program across the state. But that being said, those do exist. It's the best way to find out because it's about service territory and where your address is, et cetera, is to, consult your Northwest or, and they'll reach out to us. And basically we'll cross-reference that same that we do the analysis. We put in the address and it'll spit out, what's available and what's not. And finally is NEVI. So this is the National EV Infrastructure Fund. It's a federal program to the tune of $5 billion rolled out over 5 years to all 50 states. That's what's getting a lot of attention. That's what everybody's kind of like talking about. So there's a couple comments that I would say for that. Yes, it's a lot of money. It's also divided out over 5 years and across 50 states. The requirements are that you have to have 4 chargers and a minimum of 150 kilowatts at each site. It has to be within a mile of these designated highway corridors to qualify. And it's actually not even a mile from the corridor. It's actually a mile from the on-ramp. So it's actually like very tight constraints. It's a tremendous opportunity. But also keep in mind the vast majority of EV charging projects and locations aren't going to fall into this category. It's a very slow process. A lot of this stuff was supposed to launch in the beginning of the year, and the only state that's done so today is Ohio. And that happened in January, and they're still processing applications and don't expect to even have an answer until August, and that's the first state. So it's not something that's going to happen quickly. It's not something, and even to give you an example, the state of Florida, quite a populous state. They're the third highest state in funding that they received. And in their first round, in the first year, which likely is not even going to start until September, they're only awarding 6 locations in the whole state. So something to keep in mind, obviously, like California, it's a big state, so there's a lot of opportunity there. But it's definitely something where you want to check the address, and you want to be realistic about your odds. It's not just like, oh, there's free money there, you're for sure going to get it. We are able to do all funding. We've done a great job at receiving this funding. We're really tuned in with the departments of transportation, the EPA boards, to be able to secure this funding, help with the applications and all that for you. And that's it's a no cost thing. We're happy to do that, but also kind of wrapping your head around about like, just because it's, a lot of people talking about it out there, realistically, how many people are going to get it, when it's going to hit, how much is going to be available is kind of like a whole other case. So just kind of wanted to, set the stage on what that NEVI program looks like. So this is really the kind of now on just to kind of touch on the technology for a second. So this is our bread and butter. This is our favorite charger. And I want to go through why and kind of like the main thing. So this is really what we do at convenience stores. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, it's all in one. So all in one means you do not have a separate dispenser and a power cabinet. You can think of it just like a gas tank underground and then your, fuel dispenser up top. A lot of chargers, most chargers that are high powered are 2 pieces like that, and they have a power cabinet size of a refrigerator somewhere else in the dispenser. And then you got to go put that dispenser somewhere else on your property. That's number one, that's costly because you're pouring 2 sets of pads, you're running extra conduit, bollards, etc. Number 2 is the real estate, especially in markets more in like urban markets. You may not have the footprint to not only install a charger, but then go hide 2 refrigerators somewhere on your property. So all in one, is a really slim profile, slim footprint. This makes cost and placement a lot easier. Second is the touchscreen. It's unique in that it has this 27-inch touchscreen. It's fully customizable. We can basically, so if you had like a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks or whatever, at your location, or even like your own brand. We can, you know, customize the content that shows up on the screen to run promotions, cross promotions. Just like gas station TV, we actually have an agreement with them. We can actually monetize that for you, and that kind of stuff. So it's a great addition, and it's kind of unique to this product. It's also awesome is that it's upgradable. So often the question gets asked is this tech, what's going to happen in 2 years when something faster comes out? Well, there's two answers to that. Number one, what's just like your cell phone, every year your battery gets better, but your USB charger that you plug it into stays the same. Pretty much the same for EV chargers. Tesla's been out since, and the Nissan Leaf has been out since 2014. The majority of chargers on the road that were installed back then were 50 kilowatt chargers. Those kind of just became obsolete about, you know, going on 10 years now. They're not even obsolete, they're just slow. That being said, these chargers are upgradable. So you could install a 120 kilowatt charger, for example, and then add in 20 kilowatt power packs to upgrade the power to 240 over time. So in year one, to get your ROI, you install a 120, keep the price point down. You get the first or second year of revenue off the charger. You take some of that profit, reinvest it, and up the power. That being said, vehicles is the same way. What's getting faster is not necessarily the charger. It's actually the vehicle battery is becoming more efficient and actually smaller. So if the battery is smaller, you can charge it quicker, just being more efficient with that power. That being said, 240 kilowatts is faster than pretty much any car on the road today can take, minus the Porsche, which can take 270. And even when it can take 270, it takes it for about 1 minute out of its 17-minute charge, you know, 80% charge. So the net effect on that speed of an extra 30 kilowatts for 1 minute, you know, you're talking like seconds in how time saved. So really, you really get diminishing returns. For a convenience store, really you want to look at something at a minimum 120 kilowatts and higher. Anything less than that, it's really not a good fit. That's where you're talking about the 45-minute charge time. When you start getting 120, 160, now you're in the 15 to 20-minute charge window for an 80% charge. Nobody's really going all the way to zero. And the vehicle itself starts to slow down, no matter how fast the charger is, at about 80% fully charged. A few other really cool features about this. It's got integrated cable management. So the cables are on pulleys, and we have, this is a custom for us, the only ones that offer this. It's a larger cable length with these pulleys. So that makes it easier. People don't have to come up. If you've ever driven an EV and used the charger, you have to basically pull up as close as you possibly can to the bollards without hitting them to get the connector to fit. We have a custom cable length with this pulley system that takes the weight off it and allows it to be much easier. They're 20-foot cables as opposed to everybody else's are normally about 16 foot. So that really helps. It's modular architecture. What that means is everything inside, when you, if we ever have to send out a service technician, they're on site for, you know, an hour, 2 max, instead of half a day digging around trying to troubleshoot problems. We already know via the software what is wrong with the charger. They're going in, they're just swapping out a module, and they're all right there. There's no disconnecting multiple pieces. It's all laid out. And if any of you were at the NAC show, you know, we had a unit there. You can see you can actually open up the doors, just one door in the front, and all the parts are there. That also allows you to stick this closer to a fence where you don't need a 4-foot berth on all sides to open up these different panels to access it. So that service door is huge. Lastly is the payment options. So our view since day one is charging should be just as easy as filling gas. So we really focus on the credit card transaction. So the physical credit card reader, tap to pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay. There's also a QR code on the screen that you can scan. And we just takes you to a landing page, just like scanning a QR code for a menu at a restaurant. And then we also have our app, but the app is not required to charge, which is kind of like unique to us. You don't have to have the app. You can just pull up, somebody can borrow your car. You don't have to have anything to use the stations. It really kind of opens it up to anybody to use. So it's kind of like our bread and butter. It's the one that our preferred application. Again, we do carry all sorts of different brands that we could do, but this is by far our favorite, the most robust. This next one here is kind of the same deal, but for battery buffered solutions. So in areas where you have a demand charge, which can be a lot on the West Coast, what this does is that basically you can store the battery. The charger is going to deliver up to 320 kilowatts of output, and it's only going to require a minimum of 50 kilowatts from the grid. So if you're having trouble getting a lot of power to your site, this could be a great option. Or if you have these demand charges or like really high peak charges, you can charge the battery at night and then use the expensive energy during the day, offset it. You're delivering 320 to the vehicle, you're pulling 50 from the grid at the expensive price, and the other, 270, you're actually pulling from the battery at the cheaper price that you stored overnight. So it's a really great solution where you have this, and this charger in particular was designed by Porsche, so it's literally the Porsche of chargers. It's been exclusive to Porsche dealerships for the last 5 years. The first one outside of a Porsche dealership is actually installed here at our headquarters. Been testing it, working on it for over close to 2 years now. Unbelievably reliably product that's as reliable and German engineered as you'd expect. It's actually, ironically, a really great price point, especially compared to like other battery buffered solutions. And it's actually really competitive even to like regular non-battery buffered chargers. It is more expensive than the previous one, but it's very competitive to other brands of chargers, even including the battery. Other great features about it is the cable. You kind of don't even need this management because it's got this overhead. It's got a super sleek design. The dispensers themselves are about 10 inches by 10 inches. So, it's really easy to place. And kind of we got the same payment options. You can do credit card, the QR code, or the app. So this is a really great solution in areas where you got demand charges or difficulty getting power. This is by far the most reliable, robust, sleek charger out there, and it also helps that it's pretty much the fastest, 320 kilowatts. There isn't even a car today that can take 320 kilowatts of power. So this is a really good solution for any of those kind of use cases. And real quick, before I jump into software, I'll just say too, all this stuff that's unique to us is, you probably heard about lead times and this and that. We do not have any of those problems. Everything is pretty much available in stock, ready to ship. We have our warehouse facility here in Detroit. It's a full city block. It's about 140,000 square foot warehouse that we use. Some of it on the longest lead time that we have for anything is about 2 months. And that's kind of alongside, most of it is in stock, ready to go. The last piece on the technology side that I kind of just wanted to walk through is our software platform. So again, this is built from the ground up by us after using everybody else's and trying every other brand out there, and for lack of a better term, hating it. And hating it for 2 reasons. One, as a driver, it was failing. They were built around collecting your data, collecting drivers' data. So they're trying to make you use the app. You're supposed to have they also act like a bank. Every app requires you to have a minimum balance of $40. Well, you multiply that times thousands and thousands of units. That's just money that they're using, kind of like putting your money in a savings account, except for you're not getting any interest. They're doing it. And by doing that, it collects your user data. Well, when you have this app and this user data and these funds, when I go to turn on, when you're a driver, I don't really care about any of that crap. I want it to work and turn on quickly and reliably. Well, when you have that app and that extra layer, you're starting to ping servers, which can be, located all over the globe. It's Amazon, it's, cloud servers. Ping it. That's failure modes. So that's why we built this. We kept seeing the #1 mode of failure on chargers was just communications and timeout errors. And so that's where we were like, why don't we just eliminate this stuff, focus on the credit card reader, record the charger data, just like you would on gas. How many gallons were delivered and how much are we charging these people and what time of day, get the important stuff, and skip all this extra stuff. We don't need to sell people's, what car they're driving and what they had for lunch and what they ordered on Amazon. We skipped that piece. So that's been a huge bump for reliability, as a driver and as a charger owner, business operator, makes your life easier. The other big piece is kind of towards the bottom here. It's like the multi-site management. As we own and operate chargers ourselves, all the other platforms, owning one charger is cool. I open my dashboard, I see the chargers, see all the data. That's great. When you have multiple, now I'm managing multiple sites. Well, I want to charge 60 cents here per kilowatt, and I want to charge 45 cents here. And how do I do that? And this state has taxes, and this state doesn't have a sales tax, and it's different, blah, blah, blah. So we added these, basically the dashboard is fully customizable. So whether you're a municipality and you're worried about CO2 reduced, you're a C-store, you're worried about dollars, a hotel, you're worried about, occupancy, whatever that metric is, you can basically, it's like tiles, you can customize the dashboard to see what you want. But also you can build these groups in, so you can set pricing for a group. You could look at analytics for just a group, a state, stuff in this area, in this city. So if you have 50 sites and you got 3 in LA and 2 in San Diego, whatever, you could look at just your LA sites, just your San Diego sites, whatever it is. So again, this is something that we built just to make our own lives easier. But I think it really has resonated with our, convenience store and like portfolio type customers. So yeah, you can do the custom reporting. We just have remote diagnostics. So another big thing is we are the customer support. By that, we have push notifications. You're never going to have a driver go into the store and be like, oh, the pump's down, the charger's down. Our number's going to be on it. We would actually know if a charger went down probably before you did, like almost for sure. It's going to ping us and let us know. We're able to log into the charger, just like your internet company is able to do like a hard reset and do different configurations. We can do all that remotely. So unless somebody physically ran over a cable or did something physical to the machine that's broken, pretty much 95% of all issues can be done over the air. So that really helps our uptime tremendously. Also makes it easier on you. You're never dealing about it. You're never hearing about it. It's our phone number on there. That's just part of the package, that 24/7 live EV driver engineer support. And lastly, we are approved in the state of California by all the utility programs, by the state, Arizona, Oregon, all the different programs. The actual network, sometimes they require us to share data. We are approved for all of those programs today. So, it's plug and play in pretty much any of the markets that you guys are at. There should be no issues. So, so yeah, typically, how things work is, we can help if you guys have a site and you're interested in EV, we can do the analysis, help select the right technology. And then from there, if you wanted more help in terms of going to the site, looking at installation strategy, things like that, that's what we would do. It's kind of like the site review phase. And then from there, we would, kick off the project if everything looks good. So working with the utilities, doing site plans, pulling permits, et cetera, et cetera. So happy to take questions if anybody's got any. Here we got, just to kind of give you an idea of what some stuff looks like. These are some just completed what they look like in the ground. Here's the ones with the advertising screen, the first ones. This is kind of like our workhorse. You can see here, this is northern Michigan in the middle of winter, so it does not get more abused with plow trucks and everything than this. And then here you can see, this is the big box in front is the battery buffered, and then you can see behind is those super slim dispensers. So this is that battery buffered solution. And again, this has been great, and these are been deployed. These are at over, I think there's 900 Porsche dealerships that have these all over Northern Europe and the US. So, these have really been tested, and again, it's like German engineering. So there's not much there. So yeah, happy to answer any questions if anybody's got any.
Yeah, everyone's on mute. So if you do have any questions, please just put them in the meeting chat and we can read them off that way.
Something to offer.
Give that a minute.
Questions. We have quite a few of these last two pictures quoted to a variety of customers in the West. And we're receiving good feedback on how we're comparing. And we really can't overemphasize, this is not the same process as putting in a gas station. And it really is helpful for us to have these experts working with our team to help ensure a successful deployment at your C-stores. Doesn't look like we have any questions yet, do we, Missy?
We just got one in. What is the warranty on the product?
Yep. So the product itself is warranted for 2 years. And then there's an extended warranty that can be added on up to 5 years. We do have our own network of technicians that would service these. That being said, we are also able, if you had an installer or were an installer yourself and you were looking to, be part of that process or kind of get certified, we can help facilitate that. So we have that relationship with the manufacturers. We also do that training ourselves. So we can get you certified, get you on that network to do that work. But it does have to be performed by a certified technician. Like some of these, you got to make sure that checking safety reasons that, it's a certified technician going through it. And it looks like there's a question from Tiago Gasmart. Can we unmute? There we go.
There we go. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
I just have one question. You have the package with the batteries.
Yep.
And my question is, if we install solar panels to get some shade for the cars, is there a way that we can use the electricity that we generate from the solar panels straight to the batteries instead of sending it back to the grid and get only cents?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, and that's something that we can totally do. Solar is complicated. Let me just say that first, is that basically, you want to look at what your need is on your C-store, what you're using, what rate you're paying. Then we'd look at the charger, what rate that's paying, and then you would divide whether that solar usage goes to the chargers or goes to the store, where that makes the most sense. That's where we would divert it and store it. Basically, but absolutely, that's totally something that can be done. And a lot of our projects, we do a solar canopy.
Okay, well, thank you.
Cool. And then I see we got a question from Scott Tracy. Yes, there are quite a few units at Porsche dealerships. I could send over a list of some sites. I'm sure there's probably one near you, and I think this would be a great just kind of note for everybody. If you want to see what's near you, there's an app called PlugShare. If you download that app or go online, plugshare.com, it'll show you all the chargers near you. That being said, all the orange dots are the fast chargers. Green dots are level 2 chargers. So green dots are not something that would remotely apply to a C-store or being a competitor. And then one other layer is the orange dots also include Tesla chargers, which are only available to Tesla and don't count, and dealerships. So GM dealerships, Ford dealerships, etc. Those dealerships also will show up on PlugShare, but those aren't really public-facing chargers. So point being is if you see a dot near you, just because there's an orange dot near you, it doesn't mean that it would be a competitor and it wouldn't be a good idea to install. The other thing to note is if you click on the orange dot, it'll say the speed. Anything less than 150 kilowatts, I would also disregard, because if you install a charger and it's 150 kilowatts and somebody has a 50 that they installed 10 years ago, their stuff is out of date. No one's going to stop and use that when you have like 150. So plugshare.com, I think is shared in the chat, is a great resource to see that. And then, you could see Porsche dealerships, but I'll also send over some addresses as well. And then currently our presence in California. So we had just expanded in the last year beyond the Midwest. So we don't have any completed projects in California. That being said, we have about 45 projects that are currently underway in California, in Nevada, Arizona. We do have a project that we just completed in Oregon, and one in Washington. So we do have a bunch of projects that are currently in process, whether we're waiting for the utilities or doing construction, things like that. On the West Coast, majority of what we've done today in California is again via our partnership with the kind of like the Porsche chargers at the dealership. So that's would be the closest thing. But on the convenience store side, that rollout has really just started with our partnership with Northwest Pump. Predominantly, we've been in the Midwest and the Rocky West. So we do have in Texas and Colorado and on the East Coast, Florida, et cetera. But in California today, those projects, again, were at dealerships. And very shortly here, the ones should be online. And I think the Northwest Pump guys could share some of those projects that they have coming up. And I think there's some more that should be online pretty soon. By this summer, there will be a bunch.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we have a couple of these sitting in a warehouse in Valencia, ready to be deployed to a site. And several other projects that are in the final stages of deploying, getting approval. And then, shortly thereafter, we'll be able to start taking delivery into our warehouses of some more equipment.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap up? One more just came through from Ethan.
Yeah. So yeah, more info on getting certified. Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely something that we could link. If you reached out to like your Northwest Pump rep and kind of explain, that's something that we could definitely do. There is no cost, but there is definitely an in-person training that would have to take place. And those are both available. And then costs for the two types of units. So for yeah, no problem. For on the cost, they vary by speed. So the first one that is not battery buffered, those are around $70,000 plus or minus, depending on the speed output and some options. But that's kind of like a ballpark. And then you're looking at about 180 for the battery buffered solution. Again, that depends on some volume and some final things. And again, your Northwest Pump rep could get you, a firm quote, depending if there's any incentives and this and that, for what a final price would be for your site. But I can guarantee you that any quote that you can see for any charging hardware out there, I can guarantee you that between us and Northwest Pump that we can beat that pricing.
One of the reasons that is because Boston over the last several years has been acting as a test site for a lot of new equipment. So anytime somebody's bringing new equipment to the market, they get it into their lab and they check it out and they work off of national account pricing for a number of different products. So we already know going in that we can be competitive and provide you guys the best overall value.
Yep, absolutely. And we aggregate. So, we do our hundreds of projects a year that we buy chargers. There's the volume that our partners like Northwest Pump and our other partners across the country that they buy. We aggregate all that volume and bring that together as a buying group to ensure that we have that best in class pricing. And then I guess one last piece too is, we do also offer a potential own and operate model. So if there was something where you had a site, basically when you do submit your site and you wanted somebody to take a look at it, if it qualified, for a program where potentially, we would pay for the hardware. Obviously the revenue split becomes different if we're paying for it. But that is something that we let you know and in the analysis when we do, do the analysis on your location. So.
Okay, well,
All
that
right,
sounds-
awesome. Anything else, Jim, that you wanted to just kind of wrap up things with? Any last thoughts or?
Just for those on the call that are looking at doing a project, planning for a project, make sure you get with us in advance because we've already seen a number of site plans that are undersized for conduit size, number of conduits. These products have changed so fast that some of the architect and engineers, nothing on their side of the thing that they can really, other than they should be getting a hold of us to help them out. But that's really critical because when these sites are under construction, the cost of putting in a 3-inch conduit or a couple 1-inch extra 2-inch conduits is minimal compared to coming back after the fact and having a saw cut. So we have a number of projects we've been able to intercept and get back to we haven't started yet, we can go ahead and do this, or they can reallocate some power on the panel because they've underestimated the amp size that's required to run these DC fast chargers. So that's a really critical thing over the next couple of years that we're really making sure that we're getting in the front end of this planning cycle.
Yeah, Jim, it's spot on. So, and just to give you guys like a quick context, pretty much all architects, when they hear EV charger, they're thinking of the little level 2 one, like across the board. We see this all the time. They're thinking of the one that you put at your house. And the one that you want at your C-store is totally different. The conduit side, everything. And so, yes, your architect will probably tell you, oh yeah, we built that in the drawing. 95% chance it's wrong. So definitely get with the Northwest Pump team to make sure you got the right info and they're speccing it in the right way.
Thank you all for attending today, and we have this recorded so we can play it back in the future. There's a number of Northwest Pump people that are at a trade show today in Northern California, so this will be available for them and for our customers that are attending that show right now. I appreciate everybody's time today. Missy, if you don't have anything else, I think we close it off. And thank you, Abbas. Thank you, Alphonse. And we really appreciate your partnership.
Yeah, same here. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.